Well, today's project, I'm going to try to build a, I guess what you call an underground doghouse for my Great Pyrenees. This heat is, killing them. And you can see right here, his fur is all matted up where he keeps digging holes. And if it rains a little bit, water gets in and turns it to mud, and that's what he likes. He lays right there in that mud, and it's matted his fur up real bad. We've been trying to find somebody to groom them, and nobody will groom dogs this big. So I'm going to order a set of shears and try to do it myself. I hate it that this heat's, hurting them so bad. It's 97 degrees right now. But my plan is, like I said, right through here somewhere, I'm going to build an underground doghouse for them. I'm going to dig a hole back in the hill, 6 foot back and 12 feet across. Or that's what I'm thinking about doing right now anyway. 6 by 12. And then I've got big 2 by 2 by 6 concrete blocks like I used to build that retaining wall with, that I'm going to sink in the ground. And then I have bridge decking down there somewhere that I'm going to put across the top of it. And then I'm going to cover it up with dirt. And that should be a cool spot for them to kind of stay out of the heat and the sun, which they've got plenty of trees and shade, but for some reason they want to stay right in this area so they can watch and see what's going on. It's always a trick to get in the lot, because my dog right there, the one you've seen, Sarge, he likes to try to get out every time I open the gate. So I have to use the excavator to kind of scare them off. See, watch him run right there. Trying to sneak out right there. Oh, let me prop this gate open here. was saying it's 97 degrees today with the heat index of 103. And it's supposed to be actual temperature of 103 this Friday with the heat index of 110. So I'm just trying to do something to give the dogs a place to cool off. Probably should use my dirt bucket on this instead of the trench bucket, but where I've got the tilt on it, it makes it a lot easier to get things level. They just don't dig very good. Well, my battery died and I didn't realize it, but I've got this area cut out roughly the way it's going to be, and I've got it deep enough, but I've got to go 2 more feet that direction. So, you know, and then I'll have to cut this corner down a little bit too. There's a pretty good sized rock in here. I'll probably have to put my digging bucket on, but I'm gonna leave the tilt bucket up here so I can get to it to do my, you know, finish grade on it. I'm going to use my laser level to get my final grade on this, but I've got it pretty level as it is right now, but it's really hard to judge level when you're sitting that far above what you're digging on. But it's looking pretty good right now. And like I said, I've got to dig that back corner out back there and move over about 2 feet. I guess the goat's coming to help me. I wish. I'd love to have some help. I'm gonna have to go ahead and switch off to my dirt bucket so I have the teeth to bust up this rock right here. It was peeling up pretty good back to that point, and now it's getting real hard. I can't do anything with the tilt bucket. The only thing I hate about switching off from that tilt bucket is I lose about 2 feet of reach. But, you know, like I said, I'm not going to be able to get this with it. I've got it just about big enough where I can go ahead and start leveling everything out. I'm probably going to have to shift everything out toward the front because I can't bust this corner out. That section right in there is like really hard. And I've got the room to shift it to the front anyway because I only need 8 feet. And I've got 10 right now back to this corner. And if I shift it 2 feet to the front, it'll clear right there anyway. Because I'm gonna, like I said, on the corners, I'm gonna overlap the block. So there'll be a little triangle here that'll be open anyway, and I can just fill it in with rock. Same thing back there. I've got a whole lot more rock than I thought I was gonna have, and it'll work pretty much like gravel anyway. And like I said, after it's all put in, I'm gonna bust this bottom out, and I'll dig it down another 8 to 10 inches and put gravel in it for drainage. My plan is to put gravel down and then put some kind of a waterproof membrane on top of that, and then I'll put wood chips or something like that on top of it for them to lay on. So this really is going to turn out to be a dog version of a man cave, I guess. Literally, it's going to be a cave. But that's what I was thinking in the start for this, was to have something where they could get in cool enough that you know, it'll help them out. They're in bad shape right now. I got one dog that he's a little older than what we thought he was, and he's not handling it too well. Well, this is kind of strange right here. It's like a little vertical seam of a different kind of rock. Huh. I don't know what would have caused that. I don't know if you can tell it in the camera, but it's horizontal on both sides, and then it goes vertical right here. Let's see what the old laser level says on my work here. I can pretty much see that this corner is high right there, and over there might be a little bit low. It don't have to be perfect, but let's see what it says. Well, that's not too bad. It's all fairly level until you get to about right here, and then this whole back corner over this way is a little bit high. So I'm going to take that down, and then we'll check it again. Well, it's the next morning, and I'm going to try to get back on this dog condo, I guess you'd call it, or dog man cave, or I don't know what I'm going to call it. But it's 8 o'clock and it's 91 degrees. It's going to be really bad today. So I'm going to try to get this thing at least done enough where I can get it under cover and get some dirt on top of it, and give the dog somewhere to get out of the heat. They're liking where I dug out yesterday. They, as soon as I quit digging and parked the excavator, here they come. They just dug them a little hole in there, and that's where they laid all night last night because that ground was so cool. Great Pyrenees have 3 layers of fur, so you know they can't handle the heat, and they're really bad to you know, lay in the awfulest places there was. It's like the other day, you know, they've got some holes dug out that they like to lay in, and it rained, filled up with water and mud, and they laid right in that. You know, you can't keep their fur clean, and I'm going to try to get them shaved. I'm going to get a I guess you call it a shear, and cut their fur and see if that can give them some relief too. I had this all cleaned up yesterday evening back against the back wall, and pretty much had it level. And then, as you can see, the goats have used this as a playground. They've wore the edge of the bank plumb off, and now it's all back down here. So I'm gonna have to retouch this up, and then I've got to try to figure out how I'm gonna get those blocks up here. They weigh 4,000 pounds. My skid steer can handle it pretty good, but I don't know about bringing them up here on this slope. I may just have to bring them up and set them right there, and then maybe set them down in here with this excavator, I guess. I don't have much reach with that much weight, but at least I can set the back wall anyway. So I'm gonna try to get this straightened out here. I think I've got this back corner right here too low now. I hit a pretty good solid piece of rock right there. So I decided to just raise it up just a little bit. And then I started cleaning out, and I dug this corner down too low. And it looks like right in here might be a little too high. So I'm gonna scrape that out a little bit and maybe push some dirt over here in this corner. I think that's a little bit closer. There's still a little bit of a high spot right here, but this rock right in this one little section is really hard, and I can't hardly, cut it like I can everything else. And then you got this one little band right through here. Like I was saying yesterday, all the other rock is horizontal, and then you got this one section that's a completely different kind of rock. And you can see here how the rock is busted up and it's turned up vertical, like a fault line. And it goes all the way through there apparently. You can see it right here. I don't know why I'm worried about it, because like I said, it's going to have 2 feet of dirt over top of it anyway. So. See what I was saying about them liking this dirt that I've dug out, because it's a lot cooler than all the other dirt. So these are the blocks that I'll be using. I've got some stuff I got to move out of the way first, but you know, like I said, I'm gonna be using these 6 foot long ones, and then I've got some 3 foot ones here that I need to move. And that is a scientific oven they use to test samples with, and I have 2 of those that I use for a powder coat oven. Works really good. There's just not a lot of room inside it, but I need to get that one out of the weather before it destroys it. But I'm gonna have to get my forks put on the skid steer and get down here and move this stuff around. Now I wonder how many snakes I'm going to find in here. I don't like snakes. I think that I can just get these 4 right here and I won't have to fool with that one there. Now I gotta go through the trouble of going back through the gate again without the animals getting out. It's always been a really big pain for me because eventually I'm gonna build me a shop right here. So now I've got to go to the truck and get my lifting hook and put on my forks so I can start moving these blocks. The aggravating part about it is I have to, you know, go through the gates and worry about the animals getting out, and it's just a hassle because, you know, if I open a gate, they'll take off, the dogs and the goats both. So my plan is to move the fence from the lower side to up on the hill, and that's one reason I'm doing this underground doghouse basically, so I can get them off of this lower flat. So the fence is right there for now, and my plan is to move it up on the hill to the bottom side of that road I built. And that's one reason I built the road, and the other reason was to put a ditch up there to divert water off of this flat, because when it rains really hard, a lot of water used to come off there, and now it runs down that road and goes out over there on that end. But if I can get that fence moved up on the hill, it'll save me a lot of hassle with dealing with the animals. This lifting hook is identical to the one that I built for Dirt Perfect a couple of years ago. I built this one and then modeled the one that I built for Dirt Perfect off of it. But on his I made a couple of updates, and you know, I haven't used this one in probably a year or so now. if you didn't see the video of me building this thing for Dirt Perfect, I'll link it in the video and I'll put it on the end of the video as a tag. But it was a pretty good video. It generated a lot of views. I got, I don't know, 43,000 views in just a couple of weeks on it. I don't know what it's at right now, but it was definitely one of my most popular videos. So how this thing works is, you see the hook down there, and I designed it so it'll slide forward and backward, and so I can scoot that all the way to the front, and I can hook the blocks in here, and then I scoot it back toward the skid steer to give it more stability. And if I need to reach, I just tilt it forward and scoot the blocks forward. And that right there was put on there to keep this from sliding all the way off. And then this is for a safety chain to go back to the skid steer. But I forgot to get it, so we'll just have to be careful with it. This holds pretty good, but now if you let it slip, let the block slip and it goes forward, 4,000 pounds is way too much for that to handle. So that's why I put this safety hook on. But as usual, I forgot something. Okay, there's one of them out. I'll go ahead and get the other three. I'm not going to record it, and get them out here real quick while the animals are up on the hill. There's one of the Great Pyrenees. Hopefully he stays up there and I can get these out. Well, the blocks are out here. The real question is, am I going to be able to get them up there? Something's going on with the throttle cable on my skid steer. I'm only getting about half throttle. I think it'll be okay to go up the hill, but it's going to limit my power by a lot, really. At least I just got to take them straight up and drop them. I don't have to make no turns. That's when I really have to have throttles, when you're making a turn. It uses all that hydraulic pressure. I just got to decide where I'm going to put them at. So I think what I'm going to do is just bring them up here and set them right there in front of the excavator. And hopefully I can set them down in there without turning the excavator over. Should be able to. I guess we'll find out. That went a whole lot better than I thought it would. Even at half throttle, that thing has got more power than most skid steers do. If I ever buy a new skid steer, track skid steer, and if the new ASVs are just as strong as that thing, that's what I would buy. Of course, the last time I checked, they're $110,000, so I'll probably never have one. I'll probably have that one the rest of my life, I guess. But Now I've got to try to get a game plan together to set these things in there. Probably what I'm gonna have to do is I'll dig back in the bank here just a little bit more and make me a bigger flat spot so I can turn around and put the blade out toward the hole here. That way I'll have some extra support. Hopefully I don't flip over in the hole. I'm going to try to start setting these blocks, but I decided to go ahead and take the bucket off to cut down on some weight, because 304 is really too small to be doing this. But I don't have no choice, that's all I got. I mean, I could use the skid steer, but I don't have as good a control as I do with the excavator. So I'm really bad out of practice hooking these blocks. Plus I have my chain upside down. I just realized that after I started trying to hook it. And I had that small hook down. But it's been about 3 years since I fooled with any of these blocks. I set 250 of them with that excavator when I built that retaining wall. But I'm going to have to scoot the blocks over some, But what I'm gonna do is set my other block, the one that goes here, and that way I'll know where it goes, and I'll just scoot these to match it. And I hope I have enough room to get the one on this end. It's gonna be tight. I may have to dig this out a little bit more. I've done some measuring on this, and I think where it's sitting at will be just fine if I can get this block to move back 6 inches, or yeah, about 6 inches. I think it'll work out perfect, but that all depends on that big rock back there, if I got it cut back enough where I can do that. So I'm gonna try to move that back and see where I stand after that. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to put the digging bucket back on and widen this out about 6 inches. I've gone that way as far as I can go. It's against solid rock, so I'm not digging that. And I can dig this out pretty easy over here. Okay, I measured this. I've got 25 inches, so I got 1 inch to spare. It'll be just enough. But this block over here, I'm gonna have to pick it up and put some dirt under it. It's 2 inches lower than this one because that big piece of rock in there that I couldn't bust out. I don't know, that's low too. Maybe I should pick this one up and try to bust that out a little bit more. That'd probably be the best thing to do. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up right here and try to set that block, get that out of the way. That way, hopefully it'll keep this one from moving while I mess with these over here. Yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. It's not perfectly level, but like I said, it don't need to be. Once I put that steel bridge decking across it and cover it up with 2 feet of dirt, nobody's ever going to know. If you guys don't tell, I won't tell. I put my tilt bucket back on so I can try to get this cleaned up down in there. I'm going to just scoop it up and then dump it right behind the wall. And then I'm going to start moving that dirt pile over here. Get it, you know, not packed in, but put it around the side of the wall. And then I'll have to go to Lowe's and get some pressure treated 4x4s to make my frame around there. Well, I think that's about all I can do until I get the braces put in and then get the sheet metal on. And then after that, I'll cover it up. I'm trying to separate all the rocks out because I'm planning on using those to put at the ends right here. I'll probably stack some right at the end and then across the front to make like a little tiny retaining wall to hold the dirt back. Well, that's the plan anyway. There's a bunch of rock in there, so I hope I have enough to do something with it anyway. I think I'm going to call it quits for tonight. I'm going to run to Lowe's and get some things I need to finish this, and I'll start back on it early in the morning. It's supposed to be 101 tomorrow, so if I can, I'm going to try to get up at daylight and start working on it. I was really wanting to get this project done in one video, but I'm not going to be able to. It's getting ready to pour the rain again. You can see the dark clouds coming back in. It's rained for the last 6 days now, and we're supposed to get 1 to 3 inches of rain between tonight and tomorrow, so it's just putting a big damper on everything. But like I said, I'm gonna have to break this video down into a couple different videos. I really hate to do it, but I'm gonna have to. So I've really got to get this project done as soon as I get a dry spell, because they're saying after this rain period is over, we're going to get another heat wave. And I want to get it done for my dogs so they'll have a place to get out of the heat. But you can see how wet it is. It's a good thing I got that put in behind the blocks before it started raining so hard the other day. So all I really got to do is put my layer of 8-inch block up on top and then put my bridge decking on. And then, like I was saying, I'm going to take the big rocks like that one over there and these here, and I'm going to stack them here in the side and then fill in behind it with dirt. It should work out pretty good. But you know, like I was saying, I kind of hate to break it up into another video, but I'm going to have to. You can see right there, like I was talking about the other day, how the dogs will dig holes and lay in them. Right there's one that they've done. If you guys don't mind, leave me a comment and let me know how you feel about multi-part videos. Seems like all my videos here lately has been, you know, 2 and 3 and 4 parts long, and you know, I just need to know how you guys feel about, you know, multi-part videos. You know, if you like them, you know, let me know, and if you don't like them, let me know. But I'm gonna have to call it on this video, and I'll try my best to get another one out by next weekend and try to get this project wound up. But anyway, until next time, I'll catch you later.